Okay, now let's just go back to focusing on the breath, and I'm gonna go ahead and end the video then. So big inhale, slow exhale. Big inhale. Really filling the body all is with as much oxygen as you possibly can. Hold it. Now release. Slowly. Maybe start to notice again. Let's notice the back. Let's go ahead and take a deep, big breath, and let's tense our back. Let's tense our shoulders. Here we go. Now hold it. Now notice how more loose your spine feels. Slow exhale. Notice how, even though you have tensed your spine, your shoulders, now go ahead and release those muscles. Notice how much more comfortable they feel. A big inhale. Hold it. Slow exhale. Notice that your entire body feels more calm. Slow exhale. Big inhale. Hold it. Now really release, let your shoulders hang. Slow exhale. Notice how much more relaxed your body feels. How much more calm it feels. Big inhale. Slow, big inhale. Hold it, and then a slow exhale. Notice the relaxedness, the laziness of your body right now, and your mind. You kind of have this little inner peace that you checked. You had this conversation with your body. You checked over your body. You kind of touched down with yourself a little bit. You notice that conversation that's going on within yourself. Big inhale. Hold it. And a slow exhale. Okay. So that was some practice of mindfulness. There's a little bit there of mindfulness. And so, yeah, we noticed there at the end that the entire body feels more relaxed. That it feels calmer. Feels like there's some distance between the state and the qualities of consciousness before meditation and after meditation. some appreciable, distinguishable biological experiences, some differences noted. We slip the body into this state of consciousness through the practice of meditation into a quality of consciousness in which was more relaxed and the heart rate was slower, and more than likely the body was functioning properly or functioning in a state, a quality of consciousness which it could better process and better make sense of its environment and the, and make more sense of the conversation, the narrative that you have going on with yourself, called the human condition. And so, if you practice this, you can get used to it. You can try to live in a way which your experiences are more leading to this state of, or this quality of consciousness. That is an idea of mindfulness, that this practice changes you in a way in which you want to practice it more, essentially. You want to see more of this type of data in your life. And so when I say something like mindfulness meditation makes you more congenial to the narrative of life, I mean something along the lines of that. I mean that you yourself are changing, you're moving in a direction in which you're trying to have more experiences similar to those um, experiences when you're in a state or a quality of consciousness like mindfulness or meditation. Just by focusing on your breath, just by realizing the conversation that's going on with yourself and how it's not such an abstract thing um, to just to sit here and breathe. I guess you could call that, call that processing data. All you're doing is just noticing the conversation that's going on within yourself. And that conversation, the journey of finding yourself, can it it's you. So it can be as long as you want, and it can be um, it can be it's a reflection of you. It's a conversation going on within yourself. So you can get into meditation and realize that you've been able to notice, you know, maybe the weight of gravity against your legs while you're sitting in meditation. You've noticed things like your breath. You've noticed things like different senses that you have, or just your experience here, sitting on this planet. And you start to populate the brain with more data of being more aware, and you start this, then your narrative, that conversation that you're having with yourself becomes longer. Becomes more serious. It becomes a more serious conversation because you are living now in the state of awareness where you are having a more serious conversation with yourself and you're seeing more of that type of data populate your life. And so it also seems more real. It seems more like you actually are doing what people call changing, what people call maybe becoming enlightened or more aware. And that is when you notice the conversation that's going on with yourself and you try to relation to the narrative that's going on within you. And it is it can be, you can start meditating and you can realize that your body's talking with you a lot. And even in, you just by kind of churning on the senses and becoming aware in this type of way, there seems to be, through these experiences of mindfulness, seems to be enough type of good, reliable data, because it's yourself. And so, it's your own data, it's your own experiences, and they seem to lead to change. They seem to lead to you wanting to have a more serious conversation with yourself. It seems like if you want to have a more serious conversation about your pathway in life, then the data that you collect through these experiences of mindfulness, the body can is telling you, you're noticing the conversation that's going on within yourself, and the body is then, um, it's the body's data then. The body's data is populating now your thoughts and your ideas about your pathway in life. And so it can be um, it can be a good practice. Um, this idea of knowing yourself, because you notice the conversation that you're having with yourself. Before before meditation, I think uh, it's not necessarily self-evident or obvious, or I think it's not, you're not in a state of being as aware of the conversation that's going on with yourself before meditation. But after meditation, after these practices of focusing on your breath, focusing on yourself, your senses, letting the brain interpret that data and put it to use. Um, After those experiences, the conversation that you're having with yourself becomes more noticeable. And as you practice, it becomes much more noticeable. And that can be powerful for figuring out your pathway, finding yourself. Maybe an idea like feeling like you are expressing your genes, uh, something along those lines. Yeah, so I'll do more. I'll do more meditation at night. Be nice to get a little light out here so you can't see me. But yeah, meditation at night is a great time to do it. It's a great vibe, especially if the moon's out. It's a good vibe. So yeah, do more night meditation.